Hey, welcome to the Judge Graham Scale with Speed show, where I constantly am bringing you guys innovators in the industry, people that are pushing the bounds in business, focusing on scaling with speed, focusing on technology, focusing on innovation, and focusing on how do you generate recurring revenue. And today is no different. I have my new friend here, Jeremy Callahan. They call him AKA the App Man. Jeremy, glad to have you on.
Thank you for having me on, Judge. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great, man. So super excited to tell my listeners, read a lot about you. We've had some conversations. An app you believe is critical in every single business. No matter what your business is you're in, it's critical. And not only is it critical, you're the guy that can quickly prototype it and scale it fast. So tell us about that. Tell us about your background and what you're doing.
Sure. So I was a web developer for years. I'm self-taught. I did everything myself back in the day. And in about 2011, I realized everything was going mobile. So I rolled up the sleeves again and taught myself mobile. And, in the early days of mobile, it was very much like Instagram, these apps that came out that were really forming companies. But what we're seeing more and more lately is businesses that have a specific problem, whether that's generating more revenue or leads, or maybe reducing a cost or reducing some manpower. And businesses are starting to realize that, hey, apps are for everybody. They're not just for these startups or these giant corporations, and
Right.
It can actually solve a problem. And so that's what mainly I'm working with people, helping them find a problem within their business or generate more leads and revenue to their business.
Jeremy, I love that. And one thing I preach all the time, and I just did a podcast on this, is niche will get you rich, right? Go an inch wide and a mile deep. And
Yeah.
everything that you're doing, I love. It's very niche, right? You're saying, hey, the lane I play in is developing apps, and I'm going to create that for businesses to ultimately deliver a result. So, that's fantastic. What talk about some of the current trends you're seeing in apps. I hear a lot of feedback. Because I have a tech background.
Sure.
Man, apps are so expensive. There's so many out there. How do I break through and get my app noticed? I'm sure you hear those questions too.
Yeah. And so there's an interesting thing that's happening in the space. It's getting a little demystified. If you remember in the early days of the .com, people were paying $500,000 for a website that now you can build on Wix for $14.
Those were the good old days for me.
Yes, well, me too. But the same thing is kind of happening with apps now. They're getting cheaper to develop. They're getting faster. There's more utilities around them. There's more developers. People are just getting better. And so, it's like that giant screen TV on your wall. It gets cheaper and cheaper every year. And so there's that. And then there's a second one, which is everybody's starting to look at their traffic logs. And when they look at their traffic logs, 75% of it's mobile. It doesn't matter if, and so, and if you really have a business and you really want to, connect with your users, create a community around your business or whatever it is, the best way to do it is with an app. Because if I'm on your home screen, if my business is on your home screen of your phone, then you might think about me a little more. If I can send you a push notification and actually give you content that's relative to the business or something of use to you, now you really know I'm there. And that's kind of like more consumer apps,
Yeah, no, you're so right. Like I grabbed my phone here. My wife says that her phone is her computer,
Yeah.
right? And if you think about it, people never leave that phone. And you're right. If you're top of mind and you have real estate on that screen space, especially the homepage of that phone space, and you invite them in and you create this utility. One thing, Jeremy, I talk a lot about is how do you create utility? I talk about there's this whole thing about like shared experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think somebody like Uber has done a phenomenal job with that, right? You have made a shared experience for me. I can call, I can see the driver, I know when they're coming, I can do all of that, and I'm sharing in that experience where like a cab, it's not a shared experience. In an app, I think allows you to create those utilities and those shared experiences.
Yeah, and that's that. I'm glad you actually said that word utility, because I haven't been using it lately, but it's one that I was using for the longest time with apps. I'm like, it's a utility, okay? It does something for you. You can call a car, you can book a hotel room, you can get food, If you're in a business, you could make your employees enter time through a timesheet app, whatever it is, but it's something that actually serves a purpose to somebody. It's way more effective than just, I'm shopping for something. Although shopping has, that as well, but I mean, something that actually serves your business to other people.
Yeah. And, my background is all marketing, specifically digital marketing. And, I found real early on in my career, if you're selling something in marketing, I'm selling results. I'm selling revenue, right? You spend $1 with me. Here's how I'm going to show you 3. And I would think an app is similar, right? It's not like you're buying a billboard and you're kind of putting your thumb up and you're hoping you're going to get this many eyeballs and you can't track those sales. What's great about an app is you build it, you create utility, you build these audiences, and you can track and measure it. And so there's a lot of value there.
Yeah. And that's, that's how when I talk about generating leads or revenue to a business, if you have an app that just gets more people to sign up and you're just I'm trying to think of a good one right offhand that we've done recently. But anyways, by getting new customers through mobile, now you have a mechanism not only to capture them, but to send them out information, just kind of keep them in the ecosystem. And, you're familiar with like lifetime value of a customer.
Absolutely.
Getting somebody in there. So what are you paying to get somebody in there if you're paying $10? Well, if the lifetime value is $50 with that person over time, you made 40 and, it's all positive. So anything you can do to get, I know a great lead generator is this app Zwillow. It's just a real estate app where you just search for real estate. You see a house for sale, you can pull it up. It'll show you that house and every house in the neighborhood that has a value on it. Right. So people put their emails in there and they put a search in, I want every house within a mile of Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Well, now they know, and they can sell you to a real estate agent or something, you know what I mean? So there's some generation of customers.
Sure.
So it's not just a generation of like, hey, I'm opening an app and I want you to spend money. It might be like, I'm opening an app for you just so I can get your information. I can track what you're doing, and then I can provide a service to you.
Yeah. So you can see on my shirt here, I have a lot of my concepts are, money sheet, recurring revenue. And I think this app has so many, we're in such a society now of subscription based, right? Yeah. Amazon started that. Now you can get Razor subscriptions. You get your music subscriptions, you get Netflix. We've become this subscription kind of society, which to me is fascinating. It's a huge win because it creates recurring revenue, right? And Jeremy, as you know, the power of recurring revenue is if you don't have attrition and you keep those clients, like Warren Buffett said, it starts to compound.
Yeah.
Right? So I follow a lot of these trends with people that have recurring revenue and subscription-based models, and those numbers, even if you just stay steady growing month after month, they start to become exponential. Yeah. And I would assume, that's a big part of what you're pushing is, listen, not only is it going to create revenue, but there's all these opportunities for recurring revenue within apps.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have an idea that works on a subscription, it's the best of all. It's like the holy grail, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. My childhood friend who's a golf pro in San Diego comes up with an idea for, he's a teaching pro, a golf pro.
Yep.
And so he can only give so many lessons in a day. And even if he charges more money, there's only so much time for that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he comes up with this idea of music. And in the music, there's 3 tones: when to start your swing, when to get to the top, and when to make impact. Cool. So we make this original music, and we have this app we're about to roll out. It's going to be $9.99 a month, right? But it's like you're saying, it's like we could almost pay $9.99 for the first month and give it to you.
Yeah.
And then we're going to make $10 the next month and $10 the month after that.
Right.
And so this is it. I mean, this is like a great thing because when you start, it's crazy when you open up an Excel spreadsheet and you just start doing the math on it.
Yeah, it is. So one thing, all the time when I'm at a dinner party or getting friends together or just even hanging out in the pool and having a couple beers, you're always around those friends that say, oh, I've got such a great idea. I could create this app, but I have nowhere to start.
Right.
So, one thing I, am fascinated with you is you really say, hey, listen, I can quickly do it cost effectively and spin you up a prototype. To me, not only you're in a niche, but you're offering people to quickly get going and actually see what's possible and what would cost. talk to us a little bit about that process, because I think a lot of the listeners here, everybody's had an app idea, right?
Yeah.
And nobody knows where to start and how much it's going to cost. And, I think
Right.
that's something you deliver.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got, this 5-day to a prototype. It's free on my website if you want to check it out. The value of it it's crazy. It's probably worth $1,000 to look at this thing of just how to do it. But the first thing you got to do is you got to put pen to paper. If you got a whiteboard, I always say, if you can doodle on a whiteboard, you can make an app.
Yeah.
You don't have to know how to code, but basically you have to get started, and you have to know, like, okay, what are the screens? How are people going to flow through this? How can I do it? And I use this online prototype thing. It's called Ionic Creator. You can get a free account on Ionic Creator.
Yeah.
You can drag and drop onto the app. You can publish the app actually onto your phone. I could send it to your phone.
Oh, cool.
And we can test it out. So if you're like, say you're in business and you want to show other people in the business or whatever. If you're not in a business, you can still send it to your friends. And then on top of that, you could actually potentially run like a Facebook ad to a landing page that would just go to a prototype to see if it's going to make money, to actually test it out. So you don't get too far down the road spending hundreds of thousands. Well, it doesn't cost that much, but however much.
Yeah, no, that's great. I talk a lot about, so I'm actually I'm going to film a course soon. It's all about 4 weeks to recurring revenue.
Yeah.
And part of that is prototyping and testing. And I think you said something that was really important for the audience to listen to is you got to get it out there and quickly test it, right? There's things like pollfish.com that you can get statistically valid 1,000 people to actually give you feedback in a survey to see if this thing's going to work or not before you actually take that investment. So I love that. Prototype it, go get the survey data, see what the audience is saying, pivot, adjust, re-get the survey data, and then roll it out.
I love that. In fact, what was it? Poll data?
Yeah, no, Pollfish.
Pollfish. I'm going to do that because
llfish.com.
So I'll give you a personal story. I have on topic. I have this course. It's called Minting Money with Apps. Mintingmoney.app.
Yeah.
And it's 11 modules. It's me teaching you everything you know from an idea to a finished app. Everything.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing though is I was trying to get traffic to my course. And so I started running Facebook ads. Well, what ended up happening is people were clicking and going to the page, but no one was actually clicking on the button. So then I had to optimize the page so people would actually click on the button.
Absolutely.
But here's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I should have just created this page without a button and seeing if people actually start going through the ad. Okay, now they're going through the ad. Now let's get them to click on a button. Now it's like this step-by-step thing that has to happen,
Yeah, and I'm sure that's exactly what the app too. I mean, once you launch that app, you're tracking where are people clicking, how do you create more utility, and how do you optimize and probably even upsell in certain cases, right? If it's free, how do you upsell it to a paid version or a subscription version? I mean, those are key to grow that business.
So I'll give you the holy grail of kind of apps. The holy grail of apps is you want Apple and Google Play, iTunes and Google Play, to rank your app up in the category. So if you're in sports and you're in the top 100, you'll get about 50 free installs a day. If you're in the top 20, you'll get thousands. If you're in the top 5, you'll get 100,000 installs a day free. But you got to rank up in the category. And the way you do that is there's 3 things. It's the number of people that actually installed the app and used it. Then it's the number of people that reused it again the second time, because I think it's 65% of people that install an app only use it once.
Wow.
So the number of people that install, the number of people that reuse it, and then the number of reviews that you get. So if you can optimize those 3 things, you're going to naturally rank up, you're going to naturally get more traffic, you're going to naturally get more free press. Now, my program, the thing I put together, the thing I teach people, the thing I consult with people about is how do we optimize those 3? One, we can get all the traffic we want to the thing, but how do we get people to reuse it? So we build in these loops within the app, within email, within push notification to get you to come back. So we're not just developing an app and saying, oh, we hope people use it and like it. We're actually developing an app that says, we're going to get you to come back. We're going to get you. And then we're going to get you to recommend it to your friends. And then if you really like it and we see you're like, oh, we're going to identify you as like a power user. Now we're going to ask you to give us a review. And we're going to kind of stack the deck as much as we can to build that in up front.
I love it. So talk to me a little bit about, just so the users out here, if they want to get a hold of you, they have an idea. Sounds like you have the prototype, in 5 days. Do you ever do any sort of rev share model? So somebody comes to you and they have a great idea, and you say, hey, you know what? I want to actually invest some time in this because I see the potential.
Yeah, so I did that with this guy, Gabe Tuff, up in Santa Rosa. He's got a program called Body Spartan. He's been selling on the web for, I think, 4 years now, and he wanted to convert to an app. And the reason, I am a little choosy about what I do. The reason I chose to do that with him, to do a rev share with him, was because I could see the numbers he was already doing. The guy was crushing it on the web. You know what I mean? It's and like yourself, if you came to me with an idea for, an app about scaling your business, fine. But if you come to me with an app about, I don't know, a photo sharing app, I'm going to be like, get out of here. You don't know. What do you know about photo sharing? So if you come to me and you're in your lane, then I'm very interested to hear about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I actually do offline want to talk to you. I have a potential app idea. I need to get further along, but I definitely want to connect with you on that.
Yeah.
So for all the listeners here, what else would you want to leave them with on the power of why they need an app, how it's effective? I love the 5 days to a prototype. The thing I want to tell everybody is, this idea that apps are enormously expensive and take forever, is kind of a thing of the past, right? There's obviously investment, but now's the time. If you have a great idea, here's a guy that stays in the lane of developing apps and can do it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would really like to just leave everybody with is that, apps are the wave of it. We already know that apps are here. They're only going to be here more. There's more and more things that is possible on a phone moving forward. So apps are powerful. They're profitable. But here's the thing. If you have an idea for an app, it's very important that you actually figure out a way to make money. And that could be, increasing leads and revenue or decreasing costs if you're a business. But there's no reason to just go out there and think, I'm going to get 10 million users and somebody like Facebook or Instagram is going to buy my company. That's pie in the sky stuff. So how can it actually help your business? And this is something I really hammer home to people. It's like, think about your business, because most people are just running a business and they're so caught up in what's happening today or maybe tomorrow that they're not thinking about what's happening in 5 years. Well, the whole world's going mobile. If you have a customer support team, it's like your wife says, she can do everything from her phone. What does she need a computer for? Why do they need to go to work? The workforce is changing. How we work, everything is changing. And mobile is really kind of that linchpin in the middle. And so you got to embrace it and you got to figure out a way to bring it into your company.
Yeah, I totally believe that. So Jeremy, just so everybody can follow you, your website, your social handles?
Yeah, so jeremycallahan.com is where you'll find all the main information. And then when you go on that site, there's two things that I want to just tell you about. There's one, it's the 5 day to prototype. Again, it's probably worth $1,000. That's completely free, so check that out. And then I also have the course, which is Minting Money with Apps. And that's a full course on how to take an idea and turn it into an app. If you want to book a free consultation with me on the website, you can get a 15-minute call with me for free.
Sweet.
I'd love to talk to you. I love to hear ideas. I love to help out businesses.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I truly believe there's so many people that have these ideas. And, I talk a lot about, fear and people not being able to just start, right? How many opportunities are missed because somebody has a great idea, but they're scared to find somebody like you. They're scared to just pick up the phone and have that conversation. So I love that you're saying, listen, we can figure this out. 5 days to a prototype, 15-minute free phone call. So anybody out there that has a huge idea, it could be app related, take Jeremy up on this, right? Reach out to him. It could be the next big thing. These tech evaluations are crazy, right? The amount of money that's being made there. So Jeremy, thanks so much. Let's reconnect on the stuff I'm doing and the app that I want to do. And if anybody out there isn't following me now, follow me at judgegraham.com. All my handles are at judgegraham.com. And until next time, Jeremy, I appreciate the time, brother.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.